You were not born to simply exist, you were born to make a difference. Inside of you is a purpose greater than your circumstances. And today, we're going to unlock that power. What you're about to hear is not just motivation, it's revelation for your transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. Why are you here? I don't mean here in this room or on this video. I mean here on this planet. You see, life without purpose is like a ship without a compass, drifting with the tide, never reaching a destination. Purpose is not something you find, it's something you were born with. It's not assigned by society, not given by a job, and certainly not defined by your past. Purpose is built into your DNA. It's your personal code for impact, your original assignment in this life. Every single one of us came into this world with a seed of greatness planted inside. But here's the tragedy. Most people live their entire lives and die without ever watering that seed. Why? Because they never take the time to ask the question that matters most. What was I born to do? We get caught up in survival, in routines, in responsibilities. We chase careers, but not calling. We chase success, but not significance. And we wonder why we still feel unfulfilled. The key to unlocking your purpose is not out there somewhere. It's already within you. You don't need permission to live it. You don't need approval from others to believe in it. What you need is clarity. And clarity begins with separation. Separate who you truly are from what you've been told you should be. You are not your title, not your failures, not your limitations. You are potential waiting for activation. The problem is, many people confuse activity with purpose. Just because you're busy doesn't mean you're effective. Movement without direction is exhausting. Have you ever felt like you were running, but getting nowhere? That's what life feels like without purpose, motion without meaning. But when you discover your why, every what becomes more meaningful. Your energy aligns, your time gains value, and your life becomes intentional.
Oh.
Purpose gives you the courage to say no to the things that waste your time, and yes to the things that build your destiny. It helps you endure seasons of pain, because you know there's a reason behind the pressure. Purpose is what turns obstacles into opportunities, delays into development, and pressure into preparation. But hear this, purpose is not just about you, it's bigger than you. It's about who benefits from your existence. Your purpose is designed to serve others. It's what makes your life a gift to the world. You weren't born just to take up space. You were born to bring change. You were born to solve a problem, fill a gap, light a path. And when you live in your purpose, you don't just exist, you influence. Now, once you understand your purpose, something else begins to rise within you. Something that starts shaping the way you think, the way you speak, the way you act.
Oh.
It's the beginning of something powerful.
Oh.
And that, my friend, is the foundation of leadership. Are you ready for that? Let me tell you something that might just shock you. You were born to lead. Yes, you. Not just the person in the corner office, not the celebrity on the screen, not the one with the big following. You. Leadership is not about position. It's about disposition. It's not about having a title. It's about carrying a mindset. The truth is, leadership begins the moment you take responsibility for your own life and for the influence you have on others. You see, most people don't lead, not because they can't, but because they don't believe they were designed to. From a young age, we're conditioned to follow, to fit in, to wait for permission, to stay in line.
Oh.
But deep inside, there's something whispering, you were made for more. That whisper, that's the voice of purpose calling you to rise.
Oh.
Leadership is simply the expression of that purpose in motion. But real leadership starts with self. If you can't lead yourself, how can you lead anyone else? Discipline,
Integrity.
vision. These are not traits reserved for the few. They are muscles that must be developed.
Oh.
And the first step is owning your influence. Every decision you make, every word you speak, every step you take, it matters. Someone's watching. Someone's learning from you. Someone is being shaped by what you choose to do. Let's be clear. Leadership is not about control. It's about inspiration. It's not about being the loudest voice. It's about carrying the clearest vision. And people don't follow what you do. They follow why you do it. That's why your purpose is the foundation of your leadership. When you know who you are and what you were born to do, you stop chasing opinions and start walking in conviction. But here's where it gets real. Leadership will cost you. It'll cost you comfort. It'll cost you excuses. It'll cost you relationships that don't align with your growth. Because leadership demands that you rise, even when it's lonely. It demands that you believe, even when the evidence is missing. It demands that you show up, not when it's easy, but when it's necessary. And don't wait to be ready. The world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs more present people. Leaders don't wait for things to change. They become the catalyst for change. You have a sphere of influence, whether you realize it or not. Your presence, your words, your values, they echo.
Oh.
And the greatest tragedy is not failing at leadership. It's refusing to step into it. You were born to lead, not to dominate, but to illuminate, not to control, but to empower. And when you awaken to that truth, everything changes. You begin to see challenges differently. You begin to speak with authority. You begin to walk in a room and shift the atmosphere. And just when you think you found your stride, life throws you into unfamiliar territory, unfamiliar pressure, unexpected seasons. But what if I told you, those seasons were the very key to your development? Discipline. It's not a popular word. It's not glamorous. It doesn't sparkle like success. It doesn't shout like ambition. But listen to me carefully. Nothing great is ever built without it. You can have all the talent in the world, all the vision, all the passion, but without discipline, it all fades. Discipline is the bridge between who you are right now and who you were born to become. People love to talk about destiny. They get excited about dreams, fired up about purpose. But here's the part most don't want to hear. Destiny demands discipline. If you're not willing to make the tough choices, to delay gratification, to say no to what's easy, and yes to what's necessary, you will never fulfill what's inside of you. The truth is, discipline is a decision. It's not a feeling. It's not something you wake up with. It's something you commit to. It's choosing to do what's right, even when no one's watching. It's choosing structure over chaos, focus over distraction, growth over comfort. You want to change your life. Start mastering your habits, because your future is hidden in your daily routine. Here's the crazy part. Discipline doesn't restrict your freedom. It creates it. It gives you control over your time, over your emotions, over your outcomes. People who lack discipline live at the mercy of their moods. But people who master discipline, they become unstoppable. They don't wait for motivation. They move with intention. And yes, it's going to be hard. You're going to be tempted to quit. You'll feel tired, discouraged, unseen. But remember this, every time you stay committed, you are building something inside you that can't be bought or borrowed. Discipline is the training ground for greatness. It's how character is forged. It's how resilience is developed. It's how leaders are made. You don't become who you're called to be by accident. It takes discipline to protect your time, discipline to guard your thoughts, discipline to show up even when you feel like giving up. And let's be honest, sometimes the hardest person to lead is yourself. But if you can conquer you, you can overcome anything. You were never meant to live in cycles of defeat. You were meant to rise in discipline and rule over your own decisions. Because once you take control of your discipline, you take control of your destiny. And here's what most people miss. Discipline isn't just about doing more. It's about becoming more, becoming stronger,
Wiser. Sharper.
ready. And guess what? Life knows when you're ready. Because once you master discipline, you start stepping into rooms you never thought you belonged in. You start handling things you used to run from. You stop surviving, and you start dominating. But here's the twist: even with discipline, even with leadership, even with purpose, there's something even deeper that separates the average from the extraordinary. Are you prepared to unlock what that is? Greatness. It's not an accident, it's not luck, and it's definitely not handed out like a trophy. Greatness is cultivated from the inside out. It begins in silence, grows in obscurity, and shows up loud when the moment calls for it. But here's what most people don't understand: greatness is not a gift, it's a decision, a commitment, a mindset. You don't wake up one day and become great, you grow into it. Every single day, you're either feeding your potential or you're starving it. The seed of greatness is already inside of you, but cultivation is your responsibility. That means getting uncomfortable. That means stretching your thinking. That means doing what others won't, so you can become what others don't. You see, we live in a world obsessed with the outside: image, status, attention. But real greatness, it begins in the places nobody sees: in your discipline, in your attitude, in your focus. It's forged in the unseen hours. It's developed when no one is clapping for you, when no one is validating you, when you're doing the work anyway. Cultivating greatness requires that you protect your environment. You can't grow in toxic soil. You can't reach your full height in shallow thinking. You have to be intentional about where you plant yourself, who you surround yourself with, and what you feed your mind. Greatness is not just about what you achieve, it's about what you refuse to tolerate. Ask yourself, am I operating at my highest capacity, or just doing enough to get by? Am I growing, or just existing? Because growth is not automatic. It requires pressure, friction, resistance. And sometimes life will send situations that look like setbacks, but they're actually soil for growth, soil for depth, soil for greatness to take root. And don't fall for the trap of comparison. You weren't born to replicate someone else's path. You were born to cultivate your own. Greatness has a unique fingerprint, and it's found in your authenticity. Your originality is your superpower, but it must be refined, sharpened, strengthened. That's what cultivation is. It's the daily sharpening of your identity until it becomes undeniable. But here's the truth: the process of cultivating greatness will test you. It will expose your weaknesses. It will challenge your beliefs. It will demand that you rise above average when average feels comfortable. And every time you push through, you are not just developing skill, you're developing substance. And people can feel that. They may not know why you stand out, but they know you do. Greatness isn't something you chase, it's something you become. And when you become it, you don't have to announce it. Your presence speaks for itself. But before the world recognizes it, you have to recognize it. You have to believe in the seed, water it with intention, guard it with discipline, feed it with vision. And when you do, something incredible starts to form, a vision that becomes unshakable, undeniable, and unstoppable. But here's the question: do you see it yet? Vision is more than sight. Sight is what your eyes show you. Vision is what your mind reveals to you. You can be looking at chaos and still carry clarity. You can be surrounded by confusion, but still walk with direction. That's the power of vision. It gives you the ability to see beyond what's in front of you and focus on what's possible. Most people aren't lost because they lack potential. They're lost because they lack vision. They're busy, but not productive. They're moving, but not progressing. Activity without vision is just noise. And let me tell you, noise doesn't change the world. Vision does. When you have vision, your life becomes intentional. You stop asking, what should I do today? And start asking, what am I building with my life? Vision doesn't start with a plan. It starts with a picture, a mental image of what your life could look like, what your purpose could produce, what your potential could create. That picture becomes the blueprint for everything else. It shapes your priorities. It filters your decisions. It filters your decisions. It gives your life direction, even when everything around you feels uncertain. And here's the thing, vision doesn't come from the outside. It doesn't come from scrolling your feed, comparing your life to someone else's highlight reel. Vision is born within. It's drawn out through reflection, clarity, silence. That's why so many people miss it. They're too distracted to listen to their own future calling. You were never meant to wander aimlessly, guessing your way through life. You were meant to see it before you step into it. That's what leaders do. They lead with vision. They don't wait to see what happens. They create what happens. And when your vision is clear, your future becomes magnetic. You begin to attract the right people, the right opportunities, the right moments. Because the world has a way of making room for someone who knows exactly where they're going. But let's be honest, vision will cost you. It'll cost you comfort. It'll cost you distractions. It'll cost you relationships that don't align with your picture of the future. Vision demands sacrifice. Because anything worth building comes with a price. But the price of not having vision, that's far greater. Drifting, settling, regretting. That's the real cost of a visionless life. You want to elevate your life. Don't ask for more time. Don't ask for more money. Ask for more clarity. Ask to see beyond your current situation. Because once you see it, you can begin to move toward it. Vision gives your pain a purpose. It gives your effort a direction. And it gives your journey meaning. But here's what they don't tell you. Even with vision, you'll face resistance. Not everyone will understand. Not everything will go according to plan. That's where something deeper has to kick in. Are you ready to go all in and maximize what's already inside you? There's a phrase that should shake you to your core. Die empty. Not in fear, not in regret, but in fulfillment. You were never designed to leave this world full of ideas, full of dreams, full of potential that never saw the light of day. You were born to pour it all out. Every gift, every talent, every idea, every ounce of wisdom, released, expressed, maximized. Too many people go to the grave with songs unsung, books unwritten, businesses unstarted, relationships unhealed, solutions unshared. Why? Because they kept waiting, waiting for the right time, waiting for permission, waiting until they felt ready. But here's the truth. You'll never feel fully ready to do what you were created to do. You just have to start. Maximizing your life is about refusing to settle for average. It's about squeezing every drop out of the time you've been given. You were not put here just to survive, just to clock in and out, just to drift through years of routine. You were placed here to produce, to create, to solve problems, to impact others. That's the measure of a life well lived. How much did you release while you were here? You have something the world needs, something no one else can offer in the way you can, but it won't come out automatically. It has to be drawn out, and that requires intention. You have to decide. No more holding back. No more shrinking to fit. No more doubting what's already inside me. Your potential is not a suggestion, it's a responsibility. The tragedy isn't dying. The tragedy is never living fully, never stepping into your calling, never unlocking your brilliance. The wealthiest place on earth is not the bank, it's the cemetery. Why? Because it holds countless dreams that were never pursued, ideas never executed, purpose never realized. Don't add to that number. Make a choice. Leave empty. Every single day is a chance to move closer. Closer to your potential, closer to your vision, closer to a legacy that speaks even after you're gone. That's what maximizing your life is all about. It's not about perfection, it's about intention. It's waking up every morning and asking, what can I release today that makes tomorrow better for someone else? And yes, it's going to take courage. It's going to take discipline. It's going to take saying no to distraction, and yes to purpose, over and over again. But every step you take in alignment with your purpose is a step toward greatness, a step toward impact, a step toward making sure you leave nothing unused. You weren't born to play small. You weren't born to coast. You were born to contribute something this world can't get from anyone else. So live in such a way that when your time is up, there's nothing left in the tank. But here's the reality. Even as you maximize your potential, there's another layer of power that begins to unlock something that doesn't just impact your life, but starts to transform the lives of others. Are you ready to become a person of influence? Influence. It's not about followers. It's not about fame. It's not even about having a platform. Influence is the ability to shift perspectives, to shape environments, to leave people better than you found them, just by being you. Real influence doesn't start with a microphone. It starts with identity. It starts when you recognize that your life has weight, that your words carry power, and that your presence matters. The truth is, we are all influencing someone, whether we realize it or not. Your decisions, your habits, your values, they echo in your family, in your community, in your circle. People are watching how you show up. They're watching how you handle pressure, how you navigate change, how you treat people who can do nothing for you. Influence isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. You don't have to be loud to be powerful. You just have to be authentic. Influence begins the moment you decide to lead from who you truly are, not who you're trying to impress. Because when your life is rooted in truth, when your actions align with your values, people feel it. And that feeling, that's influence in motion. But here's what separates temporary fame from timeless influence. Impact. Fame wears off. Influence lives on. You can touch a moment, or you can transform a mindset. And the people who shape history, they don't chase popularity, they carry purpose. They wake up every day with a simple question: who can I lift today? What can I build? What will I leave behind? You don't need 1 million followers to make a difference. All you need is intention. Influence multiplies when you serve, when you give, when you speak with clarity, and live with integrity. Every room you walk into, every conversation you have, every challenge you face, it's a chance to lead by example, not for recognition, but for transformation. And yes, influence will be tested. People will question you. Environments will challenge you. But when your influence comes from identity, and not ego, you remain unshaken. You don't waver with opinions. You don't shrink in opposition. You stand. You speak. You shine. Your life was never meant to blend in. It was meant to stand out. Not by force, but by function. Because when you operate in purpose, when you walk in discipline, when you maximize your gifts, influence is inevitable. You become a light, a mirror, a spark, and people will begin to say, there's something different about them, and that difference, that's the evidence of a life that's not just full, but impactful. But even as you become a person of influence, there's a challenge that every leader, every visionary, every person chasing purpose will face. What do you do when pressure shows up and refuses to leave? Pressure, it's not the enemy. In fact, pressure is often the proof that you're close to something powerful. It doesn't show up to destroy you. It shows up to reveal you. Pressure exposes the cracks, yes, but it also brings out the gold. It tests your foundation. It tests your conviction. But most importantly, it shows you who you really are. You can't pray pressure away. You can't run from it. Because wherever purpose lives, pressure will visit. It's part of the process. It sharpens. It stretches. It strengthens. Diamonds aren't formed in silence, and leaders aren't shaped in comfort. If you're feeling pressure, maybe it's because there's greatness inside of you, trying to break out. The truth is, pressure comes in many forms. The pressure to deliver, the pressure to be consistent, the pressure to lead when you feel empty, the pressure to perform when no one sees the weight you're carrying. But let me tell you, pressure doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're in position. It means you're engaged in the fight. The ones who feel no pressure, they're not in the game. When pressure hits, you have two choices: break or build. And the ones who rise are the ones who decide not to fold. They don't let emotions drive their decisions. They breathe through the resistance. They pause, they reset, and they push forward. Because they know, every time they make it through, they're becoming more focused, more refined, more dangerous to anything trying to stop them. Pressure builds capacity. It teaches you how to operate under weight. It builds mental muscle, emotional endurance, strategic clarity. And guess what? The more pressure you can handle, the more responsibility you can carry, the more impact you can make. The greater the vision, the greater the pressure, but also the greater the reward. Here's the part no one tells you: pressure is not always external. Sometimes the hardest pressure is internal. The pressure to be perfect, the pressure to succeed quickly, the pressure to be everything to everyone. But freedom comes when you learn to manage what's happening inside, not just react to what's happening outside. Pressure will either crush you or create you. And the difference: perspective. Do you see pressure as a problem or as preparation? When you start to embrace it, something shifts. You stop fearing it. You start flowing with it. You use it as fuel. You rise with it. And eventually, pressure stops being the thing that breaks you and becomes the very thing that builds your legacy. But even as you endure the weight, there's a secret weapon that every great leader, every focused visionary, every purpose-driven individual must carry. Are you ready to discover the quiet force that multiplies everything you've been building? Focus. It's the difference between success and mediocrity. In a world full of distractions, focus is the rarest commodity. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you lack focus, your potential will be scattered. The world will throw at you 1,000 things to chase, to engage with, to consume your time. And yet your success will always come down to one thing: your ability to block out the noise and stay locked in on what matters. Focus is not just about attention, it's about intention. It's about being deliberate with where you place your energy, your time, and your mind. It's easy to get distracted. Everyone's pulling at you. The demands are endless. But true focus requires the ability to say no to good things, so you can say yes to the great ones. You must get clear on what matters most, and then guard that vision with everything you have. When you're focused, you stop wasting time on things that don't move the needle. You stop getting sidetracked by things that don't contribute to your growth. You stop letting people's opinions dictate your actions. Focus allows you to zero in on your goals, your purpose, your vision, and it gives you the ability to make rapid, clear decisions. When you're truly focused, you're unstoppable. But here's the thing: focus isn't automatic, it's a skill. It's something you must cultivate. It's about creating environments where your distractions are minimized. It's about choosing your thoughts intentionally, so you don't allow negativity or confusion to creep in. And it's about developing the discipline to push through moments of doubt and keep your eyes on the prize. What you focus on grows. Your energy follows your attention. So if you want your results to change, you must first change what you give your attention to. Focus requires that you filter out all the unnecessary noise, but it also requires that you trust your vision. If you're constantly questioning, second-guessing, or doubting your next move, you're not truly focused. Focus comes with confidence. The confidence to trust that the direction you're heading is the right one, even when the road gets tough. This doesn't mean you won't encounter obstacles. It doesn't mean you won't face setbacks. But when you are focused, setbacks don't stop you. They become stepping stones. You don't waste time analyzing every failure. Instead, you adjust, you adapt, and you keep moving forward with clarity. And the most powerful thing about focus: it multiplies your impact. Focus is the tool that transforms average efforts into extraordinary results. When you can concentrate all your energy on one thing, There's nothing you can't achieve. It's like a laser cutting through metal. Nothing stands in your way. But the moment you spread yourself thin, the moment you lose sight of what's most important, you begin to lose your power. Focus can be the difference between making it and falling short. And if you want to reach your highest potential, you need to master it. It's the foundation for everything you're building. But as you focus, one thing becomes clear. There's something else you need to succeed even more. Do you know what that is? You are a creator, not just a consumer. You were not put on this earth to take up space and wait for life to happen. You were created to make things happen. Everything you need to build your legacy is already inside you. The question is, what will you do with it? Will you sit on it, or will you create with it? Creation is not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about using what you have right now, with what you know, and going for it. Too many people are waiting for the stars to align, for circumstances to be ideal, for permission to act. But you don't need permission to create. You just need to start. The world is waiting for you to release your creation, your gift, your contribution. But you can't wait until you feel ready, because you will never feel fully prepared. The greatest creators are not those who have it all figured out. They are those who take action despite the uncertainty. They step out, they build, they innovate, and they adjust as they go. And each step forward brings more clarity, more resources, more opportunities. But you have to start somewhere. And that somewhere is right now. Creation begins with your thoughts, but it doesn't stop there. It requires action. It requires getting your hands dirty. You can't just dream. You have to do. Every action you take is a piece of the puzzle. Every failure, every mistake, is just a lesson on the road to something greater. There's no such thing as a perfect creation process, but there is a powerful one: consistent effort. The most successful creators are those who never stop. They don't wait for motivation to strike. They show up every day, even when they don't feel like it. They are driven by a vision, a mission, a calling, and every day, they bring that vision to life, step by step, until they look back and realize they have created something extraordinary. So what will you create? What will you build that the world can't ignore? What legacy will you leave behind? You were born to create, whether that's a business, a solution, a piece of art, or an entire new way of thinking. Your creativity is the spark that has the potential to ignite change, to transform lives, and to shape the future. But here's the challenge. Creation requires sacrifice. It requires giving up comfort, giving up fear, giving up what's familiar. It means being willing to stand out, to make mistakes, to learn, to grow, and sometimes to be misunderstood. But those who are willing to make those sacrifices are the ones who create things that last. As you step into your power to create, remember, the world is waiting for the gift you have to offer, and that gift is unique to you. Don't hold back. The moment you decide to create, you begin to transform not just your life, but the lives of those around you, and even those you may never meet. So what's stopping you from creating your masterpiece today? The time is now. It's time to build, to act, and to become everything you were meant to be. Now is the moment. Don't wait any longer, because your future begins the moment you start. And as you take that first step, you'll realize something incredible. You are unstoppable.